And so we're playing at a place called Bonita Street and the Bang Bang Club in Milwaukee. They're at the attic. We get through, we cut it off early, just so we have 5 minutes to get there and get upstairs so we could just hear the horns, because it drove me nuts, and the guitar. We're up the stairs, we're running, everybody, just four of us guys, running up the stairs to hear the big thing, and it's like, whoa, and there's no music. And I walk up, and they're all on stage with the lights on, and there was just like a little argument going on, and the owner, Zoe, pulled the plug, electric, on them because they wouldn't keep playing the slow song that he wanted them to play. They already played it 3-4 times. Do it again, and they're going, I don't want to do it again, Terry, hey, Nick, how you doing? Hey, Jack, how are you? Hey, Nick, how you doing? Terry, what's going on? Well, he wanted to keep telling us to play these songs, and we wanted to do our show. We're going to California, and we're going to practice there in California in the near future. We're going to get a house, and we're going to practice, and then we're going to cut an album. I says, holy shit, an album? You're going to cut an album, the big thing? He says, yeah. I says, oh, wow, that's going to be great. God, I wish you the best. This is going to be good. My buddies from the old block are going to cut an album. FM was just starting to happen. It was just AM and all that. These guys were groundbreakers. So there we are doing our thing. And I find out Terry's going to go do an album. And Danny's on drums. And the band cooked. It cooked. Another band that cooked was a group called The Mob with Jimmy Ford. And, they were a bar band. They'd come in, and we'd be like a house band. And they'd come in for one night, and they'd do 2 shows and pack the place and play the horns through the crowd and all that. And they were very excellent. Jimmy Ford was on trumpet. And, so that was the kind of style of the big thing. But the big thing was geared more for not the club thing, but for more a bigger thing, And so they start playing at Barnaby's, and we start playing at the Sitzmart next door. And I used to run over there on break to see them play the big thing. And that's when they were negotiating with Peter Cetera to get him in the band because they needed a bass. And no, but then, yes, I'll do it. Okay, so he's in the band too, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is the best of the best, I'm so proud of these guys. So they go do their thing. I do my thing. I stay with these guys for 9.5 years. We wind up living in Kalamazoo, Michigan, because we're playing Coral Gables all the time. There's a lot of them, Saugatuck and whatever, different ones. And I get to know acts from England, Herman's Hermits, and different groups come in, and you get to know these guys. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And the band breaks up. Sunday Funnies break up. Not my choice, but broke up. They're going to do some kind of bluesy thing or whatever, and then whatever. It's not my problem right now, although it was my problem. So I'm doing my thing, and I'm saying, Topper Johnson, the owner, I need the money. Can I play here and have Pat Hamilton spin for me, and I take it on the off nights, and I'll do it for ba-boom, this amount, and it's like a third of the price of a band, but you save the money, and I can play with the DJ, and if I don't get him to dance like right away and all night, you don't have to pay me. Give me a break, Chopper, give me a break. Okay, Nick. Okay, fine, we'll try. I don't have to pay you, right? I says, no, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, you don't have to pay me. He didn't know really what I do, but he always used to say in the trio, it sounds like friggin' thunder when you're playing, those drums. Evan's skins are just popping, and I was kind of a heavy hitter. I had long hair, beard down to here, and I'd hit the sticks so hard on the cymbals and everything, it'd break the cymbals, and the sticks would stick into my long hair, and then it was nothing for me to have a stick or two hanging in my hair, and I thought, I can't get it out, so I just put another one, and I just there was this thing on my head. But he let me do it. I did it. The band broke up. Sunday Funnies, no more Sunday Funnies. I'm playing the room. I'm the first one to play the room, a solo act to ever play that room. I'm going, hey, around, I get paid, and I'm hearing Chicago's coming to town. Chicago's coming to Kalamazoo. This is unbelievable, unfortunately, I don't have any money. I could just make ends meet, you know. So I go home and I go, Melody, Chicago's coming. They're going to be playing at Wing Stadium. She says, we going to go? And I says, I would love to see Terry. I said, these guys are stars now, you know. I don't want to bug them. But could you imagine the sound in a big room now with everybody boom, boom, boom? They're the number one band in the world, as far as I'm concerned. But I think they really were anyway. So I'm going, okay, you know. And I go, and I think Peter just came out with If You Leave Me Now or something like that. I think it was number one in the world. I think that was around the same time, 1976 maybe. So they're coming. We scrounge up some money, save our pennies, whatever. We got 2 tickets. Melody and me have a ticket. Our best buddies, Jerome Liebenberg, who is my son's godfather, and Mary Ellen Liebenberg, who is his wife and our good buddy, are going to go with us. This is cool. And I still got the long hair and the whole thing, you know, and I'm going to the concert, see Chicago. And I'm thinking, I may not be able to say hi, I'm just nervous and whatever. I go. They start playing, and it sounded like a wall of music. It was so incredible. Terry played his ass off, like always. And I could not believe how good it was and how tight it was and how the horns were and the tom-toms and Peter Cetera and Lagier and everything that was going on, and Danny. It was unbelievable. They get through, and they're going to take a break. Melody goes, Nick, you going to go back? I says, go back? I don't know how to get back there. Who am I? She says, well, you guys have played for a long time together. I'm sure you'd like to say hi. I says, I'd love to say hi, but I don't want to bug them. You know, these guys are like the biggest band in the world. So I says, you know, I don't know what I want to do. And I go, I want to go say hi. I'm going to try. Come on. So Melody and I, we got up and we walked down there and toward the stage, and I don't see anybody. There's a guy messing with the guitars who I later knew was Hank Steiger, and no one else on the stage except guys fixing chords and all that, you know. And there was this real tall guy by the drums. I later knew him as Kenny, and I'm so excited just being around the equipment, you know. And then Jack Gowdy walks by, and I go, Jack. He looks at me. He goes, Nick, is that you? I says, yeah. He says, get out of here. Where you been? I says, I got married. This is my wife, Melody, and we live here. I play at a place called Coral Gables when I can, and some other bars in this town, and I'm so proud of you guys. I just wanted to come and listen to the concert. And he says, well, come on back. Terry would be so happy to find you. We had no idea what happened to you. I said, well, I got married and I started playing clubs, and you guys did your thing. And I says, it's like unbelievable. I'm so proud of you guys. Come on back. So we go back, and there's Terry and the other guys with all their cases open, and they're looking at their stuff and all that. And Jack goes, hey, look who's here. And I knew Walter. And hey. And then Terry goes, get out of here. Morrone, where you been, man? Get over here. And we hug and all this. And I'm thinking, wow. I just hugged Terry, you know. This is unbelievable. And he goes, come here. This is my wife, Melody. I remember Melody. Hi, Melody. How are you? And Terry says, Melody, can I talk to Nick for a minute over here? And he took me over by the corner, and he said, hey, Nick, what are you doing? You living here? Where you living? I said, we're living in Kalamazoo here. And I wanted to see the concert, so we came up with another couple. We live here, and I'm just so proud of you. I says, I can't stand it. You know, you sound so good. He says, well, I don't know where you've been. He says, but now that you're back, I don't want to lose you. And we're going to Pine Knob tonight, and I'd like you to come with so we could talk. I want to do a solo album, and I want you on it. And I said, what? He says, we're going to do a solo album. I said, you talking like the band of two? The two guys, you know? He says, yeah, like the band of two, I guess, that kind of thing. I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, no. I said, come on, Terry, don't say stuff. He said, Nick, you're the guy. I said, me? You're the guy. He says, well, this is what I want to do, and I'm glad you're here. Can you come with? I says, I don't know. How am I going to get there? He says, you come with us. I says, yeah, right. I'm going to leave here and go to you with you somewhere in the band. He says, yeah. I said, well, how are we going to get there? He said, we're going to fly. I said, I've never been in an airplane, man. He said, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Ask Melody if it's okay. We walk over to Melody. I said, Melody, Terry wants to take me with him tonight to Pine Knob. And he says, you can come up in a few days, and him and I will have time to talk about doing catching up. And then Terry wants to do a solo album in 1978 because they're touring till then. And he wants me to go with him tonight to Pine Knob and start talking about music. And can I go? She says, go. I said, okay, I could go. So Terry says, I'm going to go up and do the last set. And then after the last set, you got to make sure. Thank you, Melody, by the way. And you got to make sure that you're at the back of the stage there because we got to get out of here right away because we got to get up there. Okay. So at the end of the set, back there, right there. And he says, I want you to meet someone. And he says, Hank, this is my buddy Nick. Hey, Hank, how you doing? Hi, Nick. Nice to meet you. Nick's a drummer. Hey. And he's the guy and I'm the guy we started together in the beginning. And he's coming up to Pine Knob. Okay, great. Okay, cool. So next thing I know, I go back up in front and I'm watching and the band's above us and they do their second set and it's all the good songs. They had so many ballsy songs and then the slow songs, whatever. So they play the whole set and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait. This is unbelievable. They sound so good. I'm in like music heaven, right now with my best buddy right there. And it's like, and he's talking about me and I'm thinking, this is a switch. So I'm holding Melody's hand and then they stop and then they have to do an encore. They do their encore and then the encore's over and everybody's cheering and it's like popping and making noises and they had some kind of thing on the organ where it goes, ooh, 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 all the psychedelic noises, and that was the end of the, and then it's over. Terry goes, ooh, and it's over. Hank gets the guitar. I meet him in the corner in the back, gives Melody a kiss. He comes down the stairs. He says, let's go, Nick. And I go, okay. And we were the first ones to go in the back there. It was a long hallway, and there was all these limos piled up, lined up, and then there was a Rolls Royce in front, which I never really saw one before. I just knew what they looked like from models. And he's walking toward it, and I'm walking with him, and I'm thinking, okay, where we're going? And I'm thinking, I don't know what to say. And he opens the door, and he says, oh, come on, get in, Nick. I get in, and he gets in, and I says, anybody else getting in? He says, no, this is it. I says, oh, okay. And he says, man, it's so good to see you. He says, we're going to have fun. And I said, do you remember when we were kids, and we did this thing from Johnny Camix in Hinsdale? Johnny Camix family owned a chain of grocery stores. I don't know if it was A&P or it was one of those kind, National Tea or whatever it was. But they had a lot of them and the whole chain. And they lived in Hinsdale in a mansion. And they had a limo. And Terry's father used to have them. They used to come out to Terry's father's. He had a lodge in the summertime up in Wisconsin. And they'd come up there and they were the connections, and their son played bass, Johnny Camix. So Terry and I would go over there and play, and we'd get a limo from Camix's house after the party for the next night on the weekend, and we'd go over to the guy that built Ranhurst. He had a son our age that hung out with Camix, and they had two dances, and so we had a 2-dance weekend, and it was a limo back and forth. And the guy that built Ranhurst, we'd get there early. And they had, it was a 3-level house, one way underground. They had a creek that went through the living room. In the pool, you'd turn a dial and the roof would open. And so you could actually get on a little raft and go through the living room, all the way around the house, into the pool, automatically. And in the pool, if you're in the lower area, is the bar looking in the pool. So you could have a drink and look in the pool, people swimming, It's kind of outrageous for kids. So anyway, we did that, and then he says, yeah, it is like that, except we're older now. And I says, okay. So we get to the airport. Everybody's following everybody. We get to the airport, and there's people there with signs and whatever. And he says, follow me. I said, okay. So they're all cheering and all this stuff. When there's a plane there, and we go up to the steps of the plane, and people are yelling and all that. And you know, I kind of looked the part with the long hair and everything and the hat on. And so I'm just part of the deal, I guess, you know. And so I go into the plane with everybody, and we all sit down. There's like couches in there and stuff. And I didn't know that it was just real short flight, you know, like 45 minutes, half hour or whatever. And I'm all excited. And Jimmy was by me, and Terry, and Danny was up front. Bobby was up front. Peter was up front, but it was Jimmy and Walter and Lee telling me stories because they knew, you never flew on a plane, huh? So I reached in my pocket and I gave each guy $1, and they said, "What's this for?" And I said, "For gas. You know, it's your ride. Remember what we used to do when we were kids? Who had the ride gets the fuel money." Yeah, Morrone, you never change. You know, that's great. That's a good thing. That's fantastic. Anyway, we go up. We head to Pine Knob, and I get out of the plane. We go there. There's a big hotel there, and Terry orders some food and whatever, and we were talking, and I stayed there what seemed like a week, but maybe it was 3, 4, 5 days at the most, maybe 4 days. And it was the best time I ever had every night to watch the band that you admire the most playing to packed arenas, playing one hit after another, and watching how you could not help but think back when they were younger and how proud you were of these guys, you know. And Terry's playing bass on Peter's slow song, and Peter's playing guitar, 12-string or something, and I'm thinking, wow, sounds just like the record. It's just unbelievable. Melody and I are just holding hands going, this is all too much, you know. So we go our separate ways, and this is in 1976. Around 1977, they're all over the world, country and world, and he'd be calling my house because I couldn't call him, and we'd keep in touch by phone. A lot of times Melody would talk on the phone. I'd be walking in from playing at a club and or a little college thing, and she'd be on the phone going, "It's Terry, he wants to talk." I go, "Terry, get out of here. Terry, how you doing?" He says, "Well, how'd it go tonight?" And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "How'd it go?" I go, "It's an off night. You know, there was not a lot of people there. We did the best we could do. How'd you sound?" We sounded okay. We sounded good. But it's hard to get going when no one's in the place, you know. You know, where are you at? He told me where he's at, some big hall, some arena or whatever, some part of the country, world. And I go, "What? You're asking me about me and you're playing all these places?" He says, "Oh, yeah." He says, "Well, you know." And then we talk music and da-da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da. We just had this thing going. We take one note and turn it into a song, you know. And I love the feedback, and I love the one guitar. See, Chicago is in my head because I was born in an area where there was horns everywhere, and I love guitar. So through Terry, I got to play guitar without knowing how to play it, just playing on the strings. And he got to play drums and all this stuff. So what I think Chicago is, and who doesn't get the credit that they should have get, is I think Chicago is like a symphony. They got the 3 voices that are incredible, and the 3 different kinds of voices, the 3 different kinds of horns, another trio. So there's 2 trios, the voices and the horns. Now you've got the drums, the bass, right? And, well, I might as well call him, instead of Bobby, Robert Lamb. That's what he likes to be called now, Robert Lamb, playing the keyboard. Well, Robert Lamb played such great rhythms, along with Terry's rhythms. It was infectious to the point where when that organ just growled, that growl, and he was right on the money in sync with those chords Terry was doing, and Terry was keeping the beat of the band at the same time. So Robert and Peter and Danny were like the 3rd trio. And I always felt that Terry was like a trio because he could do percussion on the guitar. He could play rhythm leads because he was so fast. He could play some kind of horn lines with feedback and to make the song just... This is before electronics. This guy was unbelievable, the effects that he got with the wah-wah and with the feedback and him and Hank just being so tight on everything that they did. It was just a beautiful thing. You know, it was unbelievable. But Robert Lamb, you know, everybody does their thing, and he's a great songwriter, great singer, and all that. But if you listen, all you got to do is listen to Robert Lamb and Terry playing chords together. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Robert Lamb has got it down. You know, he was a big part of that. Big part of that. And it was when Terry did played the drum things and played the things, it was like Danny was able to play like more of a lead drum, because that bottom, that was always there, you know. So that's how I always looked at Chicago, you know, as this four trios. Four trios. And so that's just my thing. And when you get to hear it live and you hear it all go around, and you hear it again the next night, and then you hear it rehearsal, and then you hear it the next night, pretty intense. I mean, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, 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 and ballsy, and pretty. So my hat's off to all those guys, you know. And so Terry and I did our thing. In 1976, I go my separate way. And I'm thinking, I'm talking to him on the phone. 1978's coming up. But 1977, I'm in St. Louis doing an arts and crafts show in a mall with the long hair, and I'm selling macrame bracelets. And I'm playing in the band. And when I have weeks that I don't have work, I'd make more money selling bracelets, and I'd be doing the bracelets with signs, please touch, all over. And I'm at a mall. Chicago's coming to town. I'm going, get out of here. I'm set up by a record shop, and they're announcing things, and then Chicago's coming, whatever auditorium it is. I'm thinking, I want to go. And so I'm thinking, who will I get to watch my booth? I asked my buddy's wife if she would mind. I'll pay her if she could watch my booth, because I'm going to try to go to a concert, but I don't have any tickets. So she says, oh, I understand. Okay. I said, but I got to try. I love these guys. So, okay, the night comes, they're in town, and I get my old school bus van, my same kind of look I had before, and I get in my van, and I get directions, because I was horrible with directions on how you get to the concert. So I go over to the concert in the hall, and there's cars everywhere, and like concerts are, and this big building, and I'm thinking, how do I get back in that area? That's what I got to do. So I pulled up to this guy that's in the parking lot, and I opened the school bus door, and I said to him, I says, hey, I'm with the band. Back door, please. He says, oh, it's over.